Hi guys, Colesy. Today I'm going to be giving some advice regarding PCs. I see and have been contacted by a lot of people that have been caught out by this sort of a marketing ploy by these people that are selling these PCs. And people get caught out by it a lot. Thankfully, the people that contact me, I'm able to correct them, but I am assuming that a lot of people fall for this and are disappointed. What I'm talking about is the predominantly eBay, but also Amazon listings for PCs. The way they market it towards you, the way they sell it, and the wording that they use make it sound like it's an amazing PC. It's going to be really good. It's perfect for gaming. It's super fast. It's ultra and mega awesome Fortnite. They just stick Fortnite in there as well. They're not great PCs, and they're not, even though they're kind of cheap, they're not ideal if you're really looking to have a really good experience and get into PC gaming. I have found a bunch of these PCs that I'm talking about, examples of this. I'm going to go through them, explain why I don't think that they're a good deal, why I know that they're not, and then also give you some suggestions from my pals over at Fierce PC. Now, some people get annoyed at me and be like, all you do is recommend Fierce PC. There is a reason for that. Yes, obviously I'm affiliated with them and they're a sponsor of mine, but that is because I genuinely believe in them and they are genuinely a very good service, very good at what they do. It's exactly where I bought my PC from, for a full price. So, I mean, there's a reason that I recommend them. So I will be giving you some recommendations for PCs that I would recommend if you're looking to get into PC gaming. We're going to start on eBay because there's a few PCs, and this is where I seem to see them, these things happening most. There are some on Amazon. I do have examples of those, but we're going to start on eBay. So you'll see here that the image that they use has a lot of colors. It's very popping. It's very eye-catching. It's the same way that like YouTube thumbnails work, right? It's going to grab your attention. Maybe if you're younger or your child is looking for a PC and they find one, they're more likely to go for something like this because, oh, it looks amazing. Then the title of the actual PC is called Fast Gaming PC Computer Bundle Intel Quad Core i5 16GB 1TB Windows 10 2GB GT 730. And then they've even got like the subtitle that's got like a rocket ship, quad i5, epic bargain. So they're using a lot of, I guess, like buzzwords. They're trying to get as much information in there as possible, sort of, but they're using words like fast gaming PC, epic bargain, quad core i5, and they're trying to make it, you know, sound like incredible, like it's a great PC and you should buy it. That's part of it, you know, as well as the image with all the free stuff. You're getting this free and that free. You know, it's a cheap headset, it's a cheap monitor, it's a cheap keyboard and mouse. There's a lot of these techniques that they're using. Now, the problem is they're generally not very good PCs. So they're generally quite old, but they're making it sound like it's going to be incredible. But in reality, this thing would not be great to game on. Thinking about future-proofing, and if you actually want to get into PC gaming, not just buy this PC and then a year down the line throw it away and buy a completely other PC. You know, if you actually want to future-proof so that you're actually able to upgrade, you need to get something that's at least fairly modern to upgrade, because this, if you buy this, you're going to need to basically throw it out and get a new PC. That's what you're going to have to do. So let's look down, and actually it does give us a little bit more spec. Some of these don't even list like the spec properly. Like they'll just tell you, oh, it's an i5, but they won't tell you what model of i5 it is. That's very common as well. But here it's telling us it's an i5 2400. Now that's a second generation i5. I believe we're currently up to 12th generation. So it's very, very old at this point. Same with the RAM, 16 gig, sounds good, right? 16 gig for a PC is sort of what I recommend as a minimum. Like, you should buy a new PC, you're buying 16 gig of RAM, because it's what I deem as, like, you know, pretty good. You can live with 8, don't get me wrong, but 16 is what I say. The problem is it's DDR3 RAM. This is different. It's not the same. Just because they're using 16 gig makes it sound like, oh, it's up to date, it's modern. It's DDR3. So already it's outdated. The motherboard isn't listed, but the motherboard obviously is going to have to be suitable for DDR3 RAM, as well as your second gen i5. So that's going to be outdated. You're not going to be able to upgrade that to a newer generation Intel CPU. You're going to have to buy an entirely new motherboard. And the same, you're not going to be able to put DDR4 in it, because you're going to have a whole new motherboard for that. So you're going to have to replace the whole thing. This is my problem. It says 1TB hard drive. Again, doesn't list specifically the speed, the brand. For all I know, it's a super slow, like, I don't know, 5400 RPM hard drive, which is just not good enough. It actually has a graphics card, a GT 730, which is not good for gaming. It's not a gaming GPU. Don't think anything otherwise. Just because it has a graphics card doesn't mean it's a good one. It is not. It is like your base level graphics card that you need if basically your PC doesn't come with integrated graphics. You're gonna need something like this in order to just get a signal out to a monitor. It's what like a workstation would use. It is not for gaming. It is not a gaming GPU. Like, this is really like, you are scraping the bottom of the barrel if you have to get a PC like this. I know that it's still a fair amount of money, right? It's still like almost £300, right? It's not an insignificant amount of money, but just wait until we look at some of the PCs that I am recommending. Yes, they're going to be more expensive, but it's so much better to save that little bit of extra money to add to it to actually get something that's decent and gonna be decent for a few years and is upgradable for you. Do not buy stuff like this. I think you can see here from this first example sort of where we're coming from on this. eBay PC number 2. This is a completely different seller, but obviously they're all going down the same route with the image and the words and the emojis used and stuff. But again, the title, Intel quad-core i5 16GB 1TB Windows 10 GT 730, it's almost like they are the same person. These are different sellers, but effectively it's the same kind of thing. The sub menu says i5, mouse, keyboard, hard drive, Windows 10. It's got all these tick emojis because, again, that's supposed to be like, you're supposed to see it and go, oh my god, that means good. We're getting an i5 2nd gen, so this actually has less information than the last one. It's not telling us the model specifically, it's telling us the generation, but it's probably going to be the same model of CPU. When did i5 2nd gens come out? 2011, so that is an 11-year-old CPU at this point. It's pretty much exactly the same. They give you the case. They're saying it's a 500 watt standard power supply. We don't know what brand. You don't know whether that's new, whether that's not. Obviously, most of this is refurbished, is what they'll say it is, because it's built with old parts. I would hope they're not buying secondhand power supplies. I hope it's a brand new power supply, but we genuinely do not know. That was eBay. Now, we unfortunately kind of expect that from eBay. There's a lot of sellers, you know, you can sell what you want. Amazon next. Now, you would assume Amazon to be better, and it is better, and there are less of these things, and they are sort of very less obvious and in your face with their images and stuff. A good thing to start with is that actually when I search gaming PC on a incognito tab in Amazon, which is probably what people will search for if they're looking for a gaming PC, Fierce PC come up quite quickly at the top of the search. So that's good at least. So the first ones you're exposed to are going to be at least decent Fierce PC PCs, rather than like when you search that on eBay, you're getting a lot of these crappy, you know, crazy YouTube thumbnail style PCs that are using a lot of old components. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some of these crappy PCs on here, unfortunately. So you can see again that they're using like a really nice picture, and there's nothing wrong with using a nice picture. That is the idea of the picture, is that they look nice. I am just noticing now actually that the back of that PC is photoshopped terribly. It's at a really awful angle. The inside of that PC is like, it's wrong. The perspective doesn't work. Okay, so it's a terrible Photoshop, but I see what they're trying to do, and they're trying to make it look nice. Fine. Let's go down to the specs. This is an AMD Athlon, which for me immediately sort of rings some, you know, red flags. Athlon to me is before AMD came out with their Ryzen CPUs, and it was back when, I'm going to be honest, Intel was the way to go 100%. You didn't want to buy an AMD really. AMD was very, very much cheaper than Intel, but at the time Intel was, you know, head and shoulders above AMD in terms of performance. Now Ryzen is very, very good, and it's definitely something that I recommend a lot. Intel's still very good as well, so it's more even between the two. But when you say Athlon, that makes me think pre-Ryzen, and it's concerning. This, however, I believe is Athlons that they made at the same time as they're making Ryzen, so it is newer and it's not quite as bad as those older ones. It's not great. It's not a great CPU, and I have a bit more to go into that. But let's talk a little bit more about the rest of this PC. 8 gig of RAM. It is DDR4, like I said. It's a newer Athlon, so it is at least running DDR4 memory. So that's a good aspect to this PC. Then we've got a terabyte hard drive. It does actually tell us that it is 7200 RPM, so it's a good fast speed hard drive at least. Radeon R7 graphics, which again, that's not good. That's not good for gaming. Like, it's listed as an ultra fast gaming PC. It's not. They can't even spell the word thread. It's called a quad thread. Avoid this heavily. It's bad. This is the CPU that they're talking about. You can see that it is branding wise, it's along the same lines as the Ryzen CPUs. It's £115 for the CPU itself on Amazon. It's 2 cores, 4 threads. Now, that's not good nowadays, and that's not good for that amount of money. Yeah, so I found a cheaper Intel alternative. Now, this is a more recent 10th gen i3, and it's much better. Like, this must be quad core at this point, but this is cheaper. It is much better. It's not 2 cores. You can see where I'm coming from. Like, it's not a good deal, that last CPU. Another Amazon, you know, crappy PC that they're trying to sell you. Scroll down to find the top reviews are disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Scam. Says brand new, but is not. It's not looking good, is it? What are these photos? Okay, so that's quite obviously not very new at all. That is, yeah, that's some outdated hardware, but not a good idea. Don't go with it. They're trying to make it look nice. It's a nice looking case. Don't get me wrong, but that has nothing to do with the PC you're actually getting. That's just like a nice looking case. Moving away from all the bad PCs we've seen, I'm going to now recommend you some good PCs. Still, you know, fairly cheaply priced PCs in comparison to, you know, really high spec ones. They're still entry level PCs, but at least they're good. They're good. They have a good upgradability. They are modern. They are not old. These are important things. Yes, the price of them is probably going to be slightly more, but actually it's not that much more. In the market that we're in at the minute with the graphics card shortage and the just insane prices that people are charging for graphics cards, a lot more people are probably looking for something a bit basic, something they can upgrade in future. Those other PCs with the older parts are not upgradable in future. They are a bad buy. They're a bad investment. You're not going to be able to upgrade them very well. Yeah, you can grab one of those and stick a friggin' 3090, 3080, whatever you want graphics card in it. That's not going to make it good because the CPU itself is outdated. It is old. The RAM is slow. It is DDR3. It is not up to date. These things are going to affect it, and you're going to have to replace that entire PC basically in order to upgrade it decently. Let's start on Amazon, being as we were already on Amazon. So this is Fierce PC's Fierce RGB gaming PC, Ryzen 5 4650G with Vega 7 graphics, 16 gig of RAM, terabyte hard drive, Windows 10 installed. Right, again, it looks nice in the picture, but we don't need to fake it in the picture because that's actually what it looks like. So there's a couple recommendations here. Obviously, if you want to go for these more expensive two here, this one with these both have dedicated graphics cards. If you have that money, go for it. But I'm looking more at these two here, which are integrated graphics with Vega 7. Now you will be able to game on these as long as you're prepared to be able to like dial it down to 720p or dial down the graphics to low. Now ideally what you would like to do with something like this is buy something like this and then go to eBay and buy a second-hand graphics card, but a decent one. That's the ideal situation here. Like these you would want a GPU in them, but the fact is that they are modern. They are using modern CPU, modern RAM. You are able to stick a graphics card in one of these, you know, if you're saving for one or if you're looking for one for the right price because they're all overpriced at the minute. This is a good PC to be able to buy one and just put it in and it will work, and it will work for years, and it'll be good for years. It is modern and it is up to date. And down here you can see that we've got DDR4, Ryzen 5, 7200 RPM hard drive. These two are both really good options. And then, as I was saying, if you buy something like that has the Vega 7 integrated, because the Vega 7's not as good as the Vega 8 integrated or the Vega 11 integrated. These are some recommendations for just GPUs that you can buy fairly reasonably cheaply, secondhand, and be able to put in one of those machines, and instantly you've got a great gaming machine. So they're in, you know, different prices depending on what you want to spend. But this is the 750 Ti. It's always been a very good graphics card for as long as I've been into PC gaming. It is a little old now because it's the same generation as the GT 710 and the GT 730, but it is nowhere near as bad as those. It is a dedicated gaming graphics card. Now you can pick these up like you can see here for under 100, depending, you know, whether you get lucky. There are some here that are close to £50, £60. Now if you want to spend a little bit more money, get something a little bit different, a little bit probably better performing, you can get a 960, a GTX 960. These again, you can snag these for under 100. If you can get one like this that's a 4 gig card, that's better than a 2 gig card. So if you can snag one that's a 4 gig for under 100, again, amazing. You're gonna have a great PC with that. The next generation on, you're looking at something like the 1050 Ti. Again, a very good sort of lower level GPU, but in the market that we're in at the minute where GPUs are so expensive and it's almost impossible to get a brand new one for a reasonable price, this is what we're gonna have to look at. But a 1050 Ti, again, 4 gig card, these are going for sort of 150, 100 to 150. You'll be able to slot that into that machine that doesn't have a graphics card, or doesn't have a dedicated graphics card, and instantly you've got a machine that will play and it will game and it will be good. I'm just laying out the options here that I see. So there's a Fierce PC on Amazon that I think is a reasonable buy. But if you want to look actually on the Fierce PC website, we have a bunch of other options here. Also, by the way, if you do use the Fierce PC website to buy a PC, can you please use code Colesy at checkout, because it helps to support me and it's really awesome of you. So that's COLESY, code Colesy at checkout. Here's one I've picked, the Fierce Corrosion. Again, nice looking PC, cool lights and stuff, which is all good. Now if we scroll down, you can add, you know, like mice and keyboards and stuff if you want. We're not really focusing on that. We're going to scroll down to look at spec. So this one has the Ryzen 5 4650G, 16GB DDR4 RAM, 240GB solid state drive, terabyte hard drive, Fierce PC 600 watt power supply, motherboard, all that good stuff. Again, a really good starting PC, but you might want to grab one of those secondhand graphics cards if you can get hold of one and put it in here to make it really good at gaming. It's a good place to start, and it's definitely upgradable in the future, which is great, but you probably would want to add a graphics card to this yourself. So now we're looking at this, the AMD Ryzen 3 3000 customizer. Now this is a customizer PC, which means that you actually have lots of options here, not like the last one where you could add a mouse and keyboard. You can do lots of customization here. You can add more RAM, you can actually add a graphics card here, you can add more storage, you can change the case, but what we're going to look at is just the spec it comes with as sort of standard as it is now for 440-ish pounds. Ryzen 3 3200G, now that comes with AMD's, so this comes with Vega 8 integrated graphics, which like I said earlier, better than the Vega 7, and you will actually definitely be able to game, probably 1080p low, depending on the game you're playing. Esports titles, you might be able to go higher than that, but you'll be able to game on this as it is. You don't have to add a graphics card to it. Now, I recommend you add one to it if you can, because that's going to improve the quality that you're able to run the games at, and you're going to get more frames per second, but you know, this is actually a really good PC to start with. Again, we've got 8GB of RAM. Like I said earlier, again, I do recommend 16. 8GB you can survive with, and you could upgrade this in future, so you could buy this just as it is, save a bit of money, and in future you can add a graphics card, you can add more RAM to it, you can add more storage to it. That's the great thing about buying a PC like this as compared to those earlier PCs that I showed you, which were just not really upgradable in any way, really. So yeah, this is definitely an option, but like I said, you can upgrade, you can add more RAM. So how much can we add? So an extra £30, we can add another stick of RAM, so we can have 16GB. If you're looking more for a bundle PC, I know that the earlier ones that we looked at, there was a bundle in there with a monitor and stuff. So if you're looking for that, but you actually want the things to be new and not secondhand, then we've got the Fierce Matrix here. Looking at the spec list, we're again using the Ryzen 3 3200G integrated graphics, Vega 8. Perfectly good, 16GB of RAM, terabyte hard drive. Pretty much very similar to the last one we looked at, but it's actually a bundle, so it comes with, you know, mouse and keyboard, it comes with a 24-inch monitor and all that good stuff. It's a good option there. It's £580, but you're getting the whole bunch. Again, you can add a graphics card, and you probably should add a graphics card in future, but you don't have to. This is going to be fine for playing Roblox, playing, you know, Fortnite, playing a bit of Minecraft. Got a last couple of PCs. Now these are PCs that actually include a modern up-to-date graphics card in them as well, so these are just really ready to go. First one is a Fierce PC here on Amazon. It's a Fierce RGB gaming PC. It's got an i5 9400F, which is a 6-core i5. The graphics card you're getting is a 1650. Again, very capable graphics card. You're definitely going to be able to play 1080p on that. 16GB of RAM, 240GB hard drive, 240GB solid state drive, and a terabyte hard drive with Windows 10. So all good to go, and it has a graphics card. This is your minimum like level really gaming ready. Now the other ones can game on them, and you can upgrade them by adding a graphics card. This one coming with a modern graphics card, this is really, you buy this, it is good to go right out the gate. And the last one that we're going to have a look at is this, the Fierce Carnage. Again, it's a PC that has everything you need. It is pretty much the same PC as you were looking at earlier, so they seem to be kind of maybe the same PC, but there you go. So there's some options for you guys, right? My main point in this video is that I want people to know that there are some red flags to avoid, and I know that it's complicated, and if you don't understand all this technical stuff and this 2nd generation or 10th generation or whatever, you're not going to necessarily know what you're buying. And that's why I wanted to make this video, to really say to people, like, if you don't know, if you're looking for something and you aren't sure, you don't know whether this is a good deal, is this a good PC, is it not, is it old, I don't understand, then please reach out. I am always open to helping people. That I'm perfectly happy with people dropping me a message on Twitter or Instagram, or, you know, an email if you have to do it like that. I'm always happy to help somebody find the right PC for them, for their budget, for what they need. I've had a bunch of people contact me in the past and they'll be like, I'm looking for a PC for my son. He said he wants to get a PC, but I really don't know anything, which, you know, again, it's complicated and it's fair, and if you don't know it, you don't know it. They'll send me a link to like one of those eBay PCs and they'll say, can you look at this? Is this good? And every time it's the same thing. It's they've been sucked in with that fast, ultra, mega Fortnite, free, and they're not good for upgrading, and the way they sell them and the way they market them is not really fair, in my opinion, because it's saying that it's going to be amazing and it's ultra fast, and it really isn't. They are made of old parts and they are not upgradable. They are not future proof. They are outdated at this point already. It's not a good thing to do for these people that are selling these. It sucks and they're being douches. It's a business, I get it, but it's not what you want to buy. So hopefully this video has been helpful. It took a lot longer to record this than I thought it would do. If you do have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like I said, you can always contact me on Twitter, on Instagram. They're the easiest ways, but if you have to contact me by email, then feel free to do that as well, and I will do my best to help you find a PC for your budget, for your needs, and help you out. But like I said, if you buy a PC from Fierce PC, which I highly recommend, they are a genuinely very good brand. They're really good at what they do. They're knowledgeable. They're super helpful. Their service is good. I haven't even mentioned that you actually get a warranty with all these. You're obviously not going to get a warranty. I think some of them did say year warranty, but I don't know how that would really work because they're already old components. But with Fierce PC, they're new components, and you're getting a 3-year warranty as standard. So if anything were to go wrong, or, you know, sometimes parts fail from new. I've had it myself where a new part will fail. They just sometimes do. It's all covered under warranty, so that's another good thing about it. But yeah, if you do that, if you do buy a PC from Fierce PC, please use code Colesy on their website, because it really does help me out, help support me, lets them know I sent you, and there'll be links in the description to all the PCs, the decent PCs that I mentioned in this video, so go check those out. All the Amazon links will be down there as well, so go check them out. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope it was helpful. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.